We are in Baden-Baden with Dr. Petra REINDL and Mr. Tobias SONNDORFER, which are both client management executives for the Central and Southeastern European markets within Munich Re. Welcome to XPRIMM TV. My first question is related to the NatCat events that in 2018 were, let's say, less frequent and with less claims than in 2017, which, let's say, set a record in this domain. But although the events in 2017 were quite dramatically, the reinsurance rate remained quite low. Taking all this into consideration, what do you think that are the main challenges for the reinsurance industry as we are now discussing about renewals and while the industry is moving towards 2019?
Okay, well, long question. First of all, claims have stepped up in the last month, in the third quarter of 2018. So we have had hurricanes, Michael especially, which was the biggest one since Hurricane Andrew in '92. We have had typhoons in Japan, a hurricane in Portugal, and a flash flood in Mallorca. But still, you are right, 2018 so far is not as dramatic as was 2017 with almost $100 billion insured losses. If you ask me about the challenges, and as we are here in Baden-Baden, of course the main challenges is the question, what is the momentum of all these events for rate increases? And last year, after the big events, we saw rate increases in the single-digit area. They were not enough to bring prices back to the technical level because very much in the average, prices for NatCat have come down 40 to 50% in the last soft cycle. So, of course, we are happy that price decreases have been halted. But as I said, it's not enough. So this will be one of the biggest challenges here. What is the momentum of these events for rate increases? Actually, when I look at the negotiations we already had, and also last year, I have to say that maybe neither reinsurers nor insurers are pushing as bad as they did in the last and really very soft years. So stability and also sustainability and relationship is becoming more important. Of course, price is important, but we are not pushing as hard anymore.
Okay, my second question is relating to the protection gap, because one of the main challenges and at the same time opportunity for the insurance and reinsurance industry is related to this segment, the protection gap. What are Munich Re solutions for closing or almost narrowing the protection gap, especially for the CE and the CIS markets?
Well, also there you are right. Many of the economic losses are not insured. We have had quite an unprecedented summer in this year with record highs in the north and with not so dramatically high temperatures in the south, but still with dramatic events like the Attica fire, for example, with 97 people killed in July. So it's true that most of these economic losses are not insured. This is not only true for the CE, this is true for whole Europe. So actually, if we think of the earthquake in Italy some years ago, there was a very, very small coverage of the economic losses. Same is true for Greece, where only 15% of houses are insured. So if we talk about this famous protection gap, why is it that these losses are so little insured? Well, it's of course a lack of financial resources. It's also not sufficient awareness on the dangers and of the risks. So especially high severity, low frequency events are systematically underestimated by the population, and then it's of course also the hope that the government might step in. I think that one solution is, of course, the traditional reinsurance solutions that we have, parametric triggers and support in the constitution of state pools. This is one side, but the other side is really has to do with digitalization, which is bringing us and enabling new products and new channels and also new new services. So if you consider that in the CE there is 60% of the adult population by 2025 will be Generation Y and Z, I think this brings a real new possibility to distributing insurance. And as you cannot scale down insurance distribution because of the distribution costs, so this would be really a good way of bringing new products through new distribution channels. I have a small example that I brought from a startup in California that we are supporting, which is offering private lines, small and simple parametric earthquake product. Where the payment is done via text messages. So these kind of things we will see more, and they could be a big help for this famous protection gap.
My next question is relating to the evolution of the CE and the Southeastern European countries. What do you think about the evolution of these markets, and also what would you recommend to the companies and the authorities in the region? And also, what is Munich Re's strategy for these markets, Central and Southeastern European countries?
Yeah, hello, happy to answer that. So when it comes to the development of the countries, I'm probably not the right person to comment on that in detail, but what we definitely see is what Petra just outlined is the insurance density. So when it comes to the potential of the region, from our point of view, we see huge economic potential simply because if we compare the insurance density of the Western European markets with insurance density in the region of Central Eastern and Southern Europe, we simply have a huge gap still, which is for insurance and for reinsurance companies a great spot to be in, and to find proper solutions and to find a way on how to approach that in a way that the population really wants to buy insurance because they see the need and do not see it as a mandatory cost to buy, basically. So that said, our strategy for the market is basically set up on three pillars, I would call it. One, and certainly the boldest one, is what we are known for as Munich Re, which is reinsurance. We are there to support our clients, to support the insurance companies in the region, and to support their reinsurance programs, certainly with a strong angle on CAT, which is the most pressing topic, I would say, but also on all other lines of businesses which we see. So reinsurance is the core and the center of what we do. We have two additional pillars to that, which should address specific needs which we observe across continental Europe, I would say. The one is what we call financial solutions, where we use reinsurance and the Munich Re balance sheet as a corporate finance tool to specifically tackle capital management related or volatility related problems within the balance sheet of an insurance company. That can be within the European Union, as I said, Solvency II, capital management driven, but this can also go beyond when you think of dividend payment abilities of certain companies, when you think about a group capital distribution within a group, when you think of a result volatility management in a P&L statement. So all this whole area where we as Munich Re can provide a real leverage with the solutions we can offer. That's the second pillar. And the third pillar, it's a very new one, which we're just about to develop over the course of the last 2 years. We call it digital venture building, where we're trying to help new startups or new digital ideas to come to life. Certainly there have to be insurance-related ideas and there have to be insurance-related startups, but we believe that they can add value to the whole industry, and we believe that particularly players who work at the customer experience, so at the front end, exactly to the point to make a better experience in purchasing insurance, we as Munich Re want to help them to grow and to become big. This is true, I would like to distinguish here in 2 points. This is true for completely new entrants, so an insurtech as we would call them, but that is also true for new ideas coming out of incumbent companies, coming out of existing insurance companies, which can be product amendments, totally new product designs, or as I said, new ways of distributing.
As we've seen this morning during your media breakfast, Munich Re is one of the most active players in developing cyber solutions. Cyber risks are one of the main challenges these days. How do you see the current status and possible evolution in this field? Do you consider that the companies in Central and Southeastern European countries are aware of the risk that they are exposed to regarding cyber risks?
Cyber risks are definitely one of the biggest threats to our digitalized and networking economy, and the exposure is, and that's, I don't say anything new, is of course increasing very much. Cyber risks are also global. Yes, of course, they affect every part of the world, every country, every industry, and every company to a varying degree according to the type of industry, but everybody is exposed. So, of course, also the region that we are talking about. The awareness is increasing, also in CE and SEE. We do have cooperations with companies on the cyber topic in that region. And we consider that as a good growth opportunity. For Munich Re, we tend to look at cyber in a holistic way. So it's not just about an insurance product, it's also about service and prevention. We are also not doing it alone. It's not only Munich Re providing an insurance product or elaborating an insurance product together with our clients. It's also about cooperation with IT security providers and with technology companies. If you ask me, is cyber insurable? And I think that was also answered this morning in the press conference. There are definitely parts that are not insurable, especially when it comes to outage of networks and to big accumulations. But we think, and I think Doris Höpke said it this morning, we have the duty to find solution for cyber, because the most complicated and the most dangerous thing would be not to think about it and not to find a solution for this issue.
As a parallel to cyber insurance, there is also one of the most important trends in the industry is regarding digitalization and insurtech. What are Munich Re solutions for the CE and SE markets in this field, digitalization and insurtech?
Well, first of all, we should say we as Munich Re, as I just outlined, we want to support insurtechs, and we think that they entered the market, and we believe that the ideas they bring into the industry will stay. If they stay necessarily in its own startup, so to say, that's not clear. I think a lot of it is building up currently, and we think that there will be a consolidation phase. Whenever that comes, no one knows, but we think the ideas they bring to the industry, they will stay. As I tried to say, we think that particularly those insurtechs who work at the front end and really trying to make the purchase of insurance easier and more friendly for the generation Petra just mentioned, that's the future. Because still, as an industry, we face the challenge that we are not seen as a product which is sold. Which is bought, sorry. We still have to buy to sell it, and that certainly is a huge leverage for everyone who is entering into that space. Now, or for now, what I believe is that again, also in the insurtech space, partnerships are key. So we do believe that insurtechs need incumbents. Is it an insurance company? Is it a reinsurance company? And the other way around, for several reasons. Just give you one example on failure culture. So one thing which we at Munich Re, but I'm sure every bigger insurance company is failing with, is the question: do we allow failures? And certainly we are not trained to allow failures, because we are a 135-year-old business, and we would like to avoid failures. But to innovate and to come to new ideas and develop new ideas, you need failures. You need a proper failure culture. To put those things together and to here is 1 and 1 more than 2 from my point of view. And those partnerships with insurtechs, with insurance companies, with distributors, probably with even investors, that's the value for the future. And our role is here to bring those together and to drive and help developing those ideas for the markets.
Okay, thank you very much for an interesting interview, and we wish you a successful Baden-Baden meetings.
Thank you very much.